Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Isom, Director of Sales and Training for Nikken North America. Welcome, everybody, to our weekly Balanced Life, Happy Life gathering. Tonight, we are privileged. We have a master of not just network marketing, direct selling, an entrepreneur, but someone who's a master at life. They understand those choices that are necessary, those beliefs that must be cultivated in order to create truly an amazing life and one that's filled with happiness and purpose, meaning, joy, plenty of balance. And we are lucky to have with us tonight someone who, although trained in aerospace engineering, for the past 20 plus years, it's nearly 30 years, maybe 30. Mike can tell us the exact number. But Mike DiMuccio, a Royal Diamond with Nikken, has been helping people to start businesses that truly can be life-changing. And we're pleased to have Mike with us tonight as our host for our Balanced Life, Happy Life this evening. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for that introduction. And by the way, it's 33 and almost a half years that I have been associated with Nikken and honestly loving every minute of it. I can't even believe it when I say it. It's been 33 and a half years. It's incredible. Well, what I'd like to do is share with you a little bit about the story of Nikken, weave into the concepts that really make this opportunity and this lifestyle worth pursuing. When you consider, oh, this was me. This was me when I was about to join Nikken. I was actually a young and promising artist, writing and recording original music. I actually had a recording contract. And I put this slide on the front end of this because I always found it incredibly fascinating how we as a population, as people, just flock to see performers. We go by the thousands in droves and are awestruck by them. And I think it's because on some level we want to live vicariously through their experience, their public experience, their public persona. They seem to leave it all out there on the stage. They wear their heart on their sleeve. And I think there's something about living that way, living on the edge, living completely free to be and express yourself as you like. I think that's what we mean when we say humans being more in alignment with our true nature, which is to be happy and prosperous and abundant. But when we look at the people we know in our lives, maybe ourselves, and people just about in every country of the world, we find that we have some problems. We have some stress that's affecting our ability to live a high quality life, a happy life. And stress is stress. It really doesn't matter where it comes from, but there are some that sort of top the scale, and financial worries being super number one. Health concerns are quickly behind that. And then there's other areas like lack of time, unhealthy lifestyle, too many demands on our time, and the failure to take time out and relax, responsibilities in the workplace, at home, inability to accept things as they really are. These are just to name a few, but as I said, stress is stress. And if we don't manage stress, if we don't deal with stress in some way, it's going to create the adverse of events in our life. And so when we look at this picture on the screen here as sort of a GPS, kind of a guidance system of what it might look like to have a life that's happy and in balance, we realize that each one of these areas, body, mind, family, society, finances, are important. In fact, I would argue they're equally important. It's kind of like a tire. If you get a nail in the tire, it doesn't really matter where you get the nail. It's going to flatten the tire. And so if you look at this right now, consider this question quite seriously. If there was one or two areas that you would most like to improve in 2024, of these 5 areas, mind, body, family, society, finances, which 2 areas would top the scale for you? Now, often I do this in a public setting, and I ask this question, and invariably, number 1 is finances, always, and number 2, 9 out of 10 times, is body. So that seems to be the real hot spot when it comes to seeking improvement. And since we are motivated by what's important to us, those are 2 areas that are very, very important to us, may in fact be motivations to consider the following. how to improve those circumstances. And, you know, when we look at what changes we want to make, we often wonder, how do we make those changes? And we think, well, if I want to make a significant change, it's going to require me to make a significant change in my lifestyle. And that's in fact not the case. Most people get the way they get because of the choices that lead to their behaviors that ultimately become their habits. They're in the habit of either being healthy, or they're in the habit of being unhealthy, or they're in the habit of poor choices when it comes to finances, relationships, etc. So if we wanted to create a big outcome, all we really need to do is to create a small change, but with some consistency and time to create a radical difference. And again, we could be talking about any area. So the whole premise behind Nikken is to help people become aware of the choices they're making in these areas and how to make these small incremental improvements that over time can lead to a dramatic change in life. I know for me, in 27 months, I went from 0 to hero in terms of my finances because of the changes that I made incorporating Nikken into my life. I'll give an example. Here is a very sobering comparison. We compare North America's approach to health with that of Japan. On the left-hand side, North America; on the right-hand side, Japan. Just look at the number one thing, our health index rating. Japan ranks number 1. Whereas in Canada, number 34, and USA, number 68. Certainly not what you would expect for the two areas or countries that spend so much money in the area of health. Step to the next one, longevity. Japan, number 1 in the world, with a life expectancy of 84.3 years. Meanwhile, the US, for instance, number 40 in the world. They live almost 10 years less on average. And look at the cost. They spend in Japan 1/3 what we spend in the West in order to get those results, being number 1 and outliving us. So if you were just a practical person, for all intents and purposes, you would say, if I was interested in the subject of health, I would be definitely studying what they're doing in Japan, because they outlive us, they're healthier than us, and it costs a fraction of what we're paying. Look at the obesity rates. Big problem in North America, 34% in men, 27% in women, whereas in Japan, it's 10% of that. So clearly, they are doing way better at this issue of health than we are. And that's because there's a fundamental difference in their premise. They approach health from a self-care perspective. We approach health from a sick care perspective. Again, if you're interested in health, really health, would you be interested in sick care or self-care, seeing these stats on the screen? Well, there are areas that we can actually mitigate when it comes to self-care, areas that are affecting us that we can get in the middle of. For instance, as we mentioned, stress, all the sources of stress, but there are things like sleep. Sleep can affect our health and longevity more than any other area. It's the number 1 concern. Air quality, another issue. Water quality, with so many contaminants in our water. Then there's this new thing called electrosmog. And all this, just look at the symptoms of electrosmog: fatigue, tiredness, concentration difficulties, dizziness, nausea, heart palpitations, digestive issues, pain. Anything sound familiar to anybody? And this is recent technology. And then, of course, there's malnutrition. In fact, interestingly, the number 1 cause of obesity is malnutrition, and it's now affecting children. We've got children with adult diseases. And these are things that we can actually help and mitigate. How we do that is we take responsibility. We take responsibility through self-care. In other words, we become healthy by choice and not by chance. And that's really what we mean when we refer to active wellness, as we get involved in our health and our well-being. And the company that has led us to these conclusions is the company that actually was born in Japan, so influenced by the way they think in Japan in terms of health and health prevention, the prevention of disease. Let me introduce you to Nikken from their own words.
Do you ever have days where everything in your life feels in balance? When your mind is clear and your body feels in tune with nature? When everyone in your family is healthy and happy? When you belong to and support a warm, loving community? When you have a stable income and no debt? Mind, body, family, society, finances, Nikken calls these 5 areas of our lives the 5 pillars of wellness. We help you cultivate balance in all 5 areas of life with the tools that build your wellness home. Because to breathe is to live, we focus on clean air. Because water is life, we focus on pure water. Because healthy food nourishes strong bodies, we focus on nutrient-dense organic ingredients. Because everyone needs restful sleep and energy to feel joyful, we focus on rest, relaxation, and magnetic support. And to keep you as youthful looking as you feel, we focus on naturally sourced marine organic skincare. Our vision is to share the 5 pillars of wellness with everyone. And we want to spread the word throughout the world. Because once you achieve a balanced lifestyle, wouldn't you want to help everyone you know to achieve the same wonderful life of active wellness? That's what we offer everyone who is part of our global wellness community. Join Nikken to build your wellness home and live a life in balance. Discover it, live it, share it.
Amazing. What you've just heard is our philosophy for life, a balanced life. In fact, you could argue this is a really good definition of success. My mentor used to say success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. As long as you're moving towards a worthy ideal, something like balance in your 5 pillars of wellness, that would be a pretty good definition of success. So we've also heard a little bit about this concept of active wellness, and the Nikken Wellness Home was alluded to. A little bit more about that. The philosophy of the Nikken Wellness Home is what I'd like to introduce to you next. The concept of bringing nature back into our lives, connecting with nature, is what we call biomimicry. It's bringing technology into our space, whether it's our workplace or our home, whereby we can reconnect with nature and all the vital energies of nature that bring balance into our environment. Let's look at this.
In a world constantly evolving, we've found inspiration in nature's timeless solutions, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, readily available outside our doors. This is biomimicry, the art of learning from and emulating nature's brilliance, solving our problems and creating sustainable solutions. Nature is our guide, offering forms more efficient than we ever imagined, processes ahead of cutting-edge technologies and systems refined over billions of years. The human body is a highly sophisticated biological system that has evolved to be efficient, adaptive, and resilient. Incorporating principles of biomimicry for human body functions not only leverages the efficiency and adaptability of natural systems, but also aligns with the broader goals of sustainability and environmental harmony. In a natural environment, the spring water is filtered, purified, and filled with minerals that are essential for maintaining optimal functions in our body. The emulation of these natural compositions generates an exceptional source of the ideal water that every cell in our body needs for smart hydration. The Earth's magnetic field influences organisms in many ways: navigation, finding their way, or even for communication. By using magnetic and massage stimulation, we are seeking to influence the body's natural responses to restore balance and support in our increasing stressful world. Air abundant in negative ions can be experienced as a fresh air feeling, such as the revitalizing air near waterfalls and forests. Ionization technologies enhance indoor air quality and overall wellness, bringing pure air to our home. Ceramic reflective fibers work like the sun's spectrum, bringing this comforting technology to our homes. Using energy from our bodies and the environment, these fibers gently reflect a soothing warmth, promoting a sense of well-being for less stress, restful sleep, and vital energy. Our overall approach aims to bring balance in the 5 pillars of wellness by bringing nature into your home. Together, we can make a better world where we not only survive, but thrive. And you? How do you connect with nature?
Absolutely brilliant concept. How many of you are starting to understand why Nikken is such a special offer? I have been with Nikken for almost, well, I said earlier, 33 and a half years. Nikken has been on the planet for 50 years, and for 50 years, they've been studying wellness. They've been studying what it is that creates well-being. You know, my mentor used to say, if you want to study health, study the universe. And that's what Nikken's been doing. It's been looking at all the ways that Earth and the biosphere of Earth has been providing mankind the possibility to thrive. And so that is what we find in our Nikken technology. We find various areas: air, water, sleep, nutrition, and and energy, natural energies that we find in our environment. And that's what creates what we call the wellness home. It's kind of like having a greenhouse for humans, protecting and nourishing our body outside in and inside out. And the categories, as we mentioned, have different products. The air wellness you saw just now, the water technology, sleep technology. One of my favorites is actually the sleep technology. I can't imagine life without sleeping on the Nikken sleep system every night. We've got our nutrition, which is whole food. It's all organic and natural. And our natural energy technologies that, for everything from grounding to daytime products that keep you energized and vitalized. And this is really the 5 vital elements science that replicates nature. However, we can tell you all day long about the science and the wonders of this, but there's nothing more powerful in our experience in Nikken than the experience of others who have tried these products and incorporated them into their lives. And I know there's a number of you on this call right now. I've asked 1 or 2 of you if you wouldn't mind stepping up. Jeff, who did we ask first off?
We have Nancy.
Is that Nancy Clyde? Okay, great.
Who can talk to us about some of Nikken's great products.
Tell us, Nancy. Tell us your story.
Okay, well, I've been with Nikken over 25 years and have learned so much. Way back when, I was just stressed because of my husband's stress. He was a basketball coach, late hours, not much sleep during the 4 months of basketball season, and he needed better sleep. And so we invested in our wellness, and what I saw was happening to my husband in the sleep system. I thought it was for him, but it also helped me, but I'll go into him. After basketball season, this was in November, basketball season ends, so they go into after the season, playoffs in March. And his friends, well, colleagues at school and then at church said, "You don't look like you just came through basketball season," because he truly did look, to me and others, 10 years older. And so he said, "I don't feel like it either." We also, after that, added the air system, thinking, well, we can't sleep any better, but yeah, let's get the stuff out of the air. And we slept better. We didn't even know that was possible. Of course, it becomes your new normal. So, you don't notice it until you're away from it. But we would not, we cannot imagine not having a wellness home and sleeping on a sleep system, like you said, Michael, and breathing the air, the water, everything.
Amazing. Yeah. I remember when I first got my sleep system, one of the things we used to talk about when we got together was these fascinating dreams. We were dreaming in Technicolor. Is that something or else? Yeah, it was such a common experience when we first got our sleep system. So we kind of wondered, what's this all about? But I guess that's what deeper sleep does for you. Okay, I'm sure we've got a million testimonies here to hear from, but I just want to hear 1 or 2 more. Can I get a volunteer out there? Share product experience of yours. Come on, don't be shy, guys. You need to unmute.
Mike, this is Karen Willens.
Hey, Dr. Karen Willens, tell us about your story.
Thank you. And I'm sitting in my car watching this, by the way, because I love watching. So my experience, I have a PhD in natural health, and I was doing everything right. And I could actually, my body was really in very poor shape. I was doing everything I was taught to do, and it wasn't helping. I was going downhill. And I was introduced to the Nikken Wellness Home, basically. And I actually I didn't feel it right away. For me, it took a little bit longer. The the goal that I had was to dance at my children's weddings. None of them were married at the time. And in the state that I was in, I could not do that. 3 years after Nikken and I found each other, I actually flew 2/3 of the way across the country for the first wedding. And I danced at my daughter's wedding, and I realized how much better I was. And I have, over the last 19 years, my body has become stronger. And the reason I'm in the car, I just took care of my 2-year-old and 3.5-year-old grandkids for my son and daughter-in-law. And there's no way I could keep up with those two without Nikken.
Amazing. We talk about lifestyle, and that's really where these products show up, is how they allow us to perform better and live our life. One more. Can we have one more volunteer? Maggie, you've got your hand up. How about Maggie? You need to unmute there, Maggie. Are you on a phone? There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the button disappeared and I had to get it back. Thank you so much, Michael. Well, I've been with Nikken for over 29 years, and 30 years ago, I was searching desperately for a solution to a chronic problem I'd had for 30 years at that point with my back, my hips, my legs. And I had spent a lot of time and a lot of money. Like, I remember you talking about that, Michael. Everything I could get that was complimentary would help for a little bit, but nothing really resolved the problem until my dear friend, who was a healthcare professional, said, I think I found what you're looking for. So I investigated Nikken by, going to her place, experiencing the products. And I had no logical reason to say yes to it all. But intuitively, I knew that this was the solution my body was looking for. So, and like Karen, it didn't happen overnight. It took 3 months before one morning I got out of bed in one movement. And that's normal for most people. I had not been able to get out of bed in one movement for many, many years. I had too much discomfort, too much stiffness. And I stood up in one movement, which was another thing I hadn't been able to do. And I was so confused. I thought, something's different, but what is it? And then when I walked to the bathroom, standing up straight, I realized, oh my gosh, I don't hurt. I'm not stiff. I have this amazing feeling in my body that I can hardly remember. It's been so long. So I became an absolute advocate. But even beyond that, I was so obsessed with sharing this with Nikken because I knew there were other people like me who were looking for this solution. And it became not just a physical solution for me, but the whole 5 pillars of wellness. And it gave me an opportunity to leave a tenured professorship to do something that I was more passionate about. So the financial pillar, everything has improved so much in the last 29 years. And I'm extremely grateful to the community, the company, you, Michael, as my mentor, and so much that I've gained from being part of Nikken.
Well, thank you, Maggie. And to contrast all the stories you've heard so far, mine was actually rather quick. I had suffered a low back injury from a rear end collision. I had undergone every treatment there was, physio, chiro, massage. I was in somebody's office every other day for 1.5 years until one day I got a phone call, like most of us did. And a friend of mine introduced me to Nikken. And it was through one product, one item, that they said, put this on the small of your back. And quite literally, within about 15 minutes, I felt relief for the first time in 1.5 years. And that was the beginning of my journey, which led to an experience my father had that same night and a couple of days following that, from limping around the house and having terrible range of motion and in agony to being just a normal person again. I knew that this was like having a tiger by the tail. People needed to know about this. I felt very compelled to share. And that really takes us to the next concept, and that is our opportunity. We have an opportunity to share this with people, and that's the beginning of the journey of our business experience. So first question I'm going to ask you is, how do you want to connect with nature? We have an incredible product line. Obviously, one of our top sellers is our PiMag Waterfall. Ask the people who invited you to this call to learn more about the different products that Nikken offers and the various ways you can get them. For instance, our packs, our water pack, or an energy pack, or sleep pack. I love it. I love telling people 1 pack's good, 2 is better, all 3 is ideal, because now you've got your wellness home really a good start with your wellness home. There's savings with the packs, there's free shipping, etc. We also have something brand new to the product line that just came out in the last few months, and that is our pink collagen. Everyone who's on it is swearing by it. I am one of those people who swears by it. It is a phenomenal product, and something that you're going to want to share with a lot of people. So let's talk about how you can get involved. As a customer, there's really not much to do. Just order something and get started as a Nikken customer. But if you're seeing more here and you'd like to know more of the story, you can participate in Nikken by upgrading your customer account and becoming a Nikken consultant, in which case you can start to participate in the sharing and the what goes with the sharing, which is compensation. If you're somebody who's a little bit more active and somebody who wants to be a little bit more involved in building out our Nikken wellness community, partner with us, partner with people who are involved, and build yourself a tremendous possibility in terms of finances. So what I'd like to do now is just switch to the opportunity for a second. Why is it that finances is always number one? Everywhere I go, when I ask people what their number one source of stress is, they always say finances. That's what comes up. And the answer is simple. This is borrowed from a fellow by the name of Robert Kiyosaki. He's a best-selling author. He's pretty well known. And he talks about the 4 ways money is earned. On the left-hand side, we have people who are either an employee or are self-employed, and they represent a whopping 95% of the population. 75% employees, 20% self-employed. And when I mean self-employed, it could be, a professional, accountant, a lawyer, maybe somebody who's operating a small business. And the problem with being on the left-hand side is that while they represent the lion's share of the population, they only earn 5% of the money that's actually earned. Meanwhile, on the right-hand side, we've got 95% of the money being earned by only 5% of the population. You might say that's unfair, but it has nothing to do with fairness. It has to do with their relationship with money. On the left, we've been taught to trade time for money. In fact, you go to school to get a good job to do what? Trade time for money. Meanwhile, on the right, what they learn is how to add value, valuable things to the community that adds value, but they do it in a way where they can create more than one stream of income. And oftentimes that's independent of their time. This is where Nikken comes in. It's a business opportunity to be able to share something of tremendous value in a way that can create multiple sources of income, and in a way that can become independent of the time allocation that you put to it. And all of a sudden now, you become one of the members of the population who enjoys freedom and the freedom of time. And what makes it possible is the evolution of business. If we look at Amazon and we look at Uber, these are 2 huge companies that became fairly huge with technology. Amazon, for instance, you can be an Amazon seller using their platform. You could be an Uber driver using their platform. I kind of like the Uber analogy, because Uber, without owning a single taxi, has become the largest taxi company in the world. How? By providing people who are looking for opportunity to become self-employed, leveraging their platform. And so what did Nikken do? Well, Nikken created a platform for people who are looking to be self-employed to be able to share the concepts of Nikken to the world. But this platform not only enables you to share for yourself, it enables you to empower others. An Uber driver can't go out and find other Uber drivers to join their team, and thereby earning extra income on that effort. But in Nikken, we can. Everyone who joins Nikken has an equal opportunity to take advantage of this platform and ask others to do the same. That creates a network effect, multiplying your time. And the concept, the platform is really quite simple. We join Nikken. We can do that online. We share and promote the products and our opportunity and our philosophy, our cause. We invite people to enjoy the benefits of both worlds. And then Nikken does all the tough stuff. They do the inventorying, they do the research and developing, the warehousing, they do all the basically the tough logistics part of getting a product to the end consumer. We just share the information. And then Nikken does another great thing, rewards us, and they do it also directly into our account. No checks, just direct deposit. So what an amazing system that we can then share. And we can share pretty much anywhere we are. I've actually done this. I used to live in Barbados, and I used to have this little rock that I'd stand on and make a lot of calls from. So we do actually have the freedom and the flexibility of being able to do Nikken in multiple jurisdictions, multiple countries, and we can do it remotely because we have the tools and the technology. And all of this for the incredibly low price of $39.95 US as a consultant. So it's a very inexpensive way to start a business. But in this business, you're not alone. You're supported by the people, and we're going to hear from a few. And there's a number of ways in which we earn income. We talked about multiple sources of income. Well, Nikken offers many different ways of earning income: retail profits, bonuses of different types, lifestyle bonuses, trips, personal rebates, overrides, leadership bonuses on the teams that we build, and all kinds of wonderful trips. I've traveled the world with the Nikken Incentives Program. If you're looking to develop your entrepreneurial skills, if you've never been an entrepreneur before, like me, then we also have a leadership development program. In fact, Jeff leads our Humans Being More development program. And it's an incredible way for somebody to start to learn how to be self-sufficient, be an entrepreneur, be independent, and then interdependent, working with others in a collaborative way. It is absolutely the perfect gig economy opportunity. Not only that, but you learn from the people who've actually succeeded. That's one of the greatest things about this opportunity. It's not a classroom style learning. You learn on the go, but you learn from the people who are a little bit further ahead than you and have gone all the way. Let me give you just a quick illustration of how this concept works. Let's say that's you right there in the center of the circle up at the top left. And you're surrounded by people that you've introduced this to. Some of these people have become loyal fans of Nikken and consume the Nikken products, some with regularity. They love their Nikken Wellness Home and their Nikken Wellness experience. Many of us you've heard have been on this regimen for decades. We love the Nikken Wellness Home. We love the Nikken Wellness experience, and we don't want to be without it. Some of the people that you've introduced will take it one step further and actually start sharing it with others. We call those our partners. And when they start sharing, and then those people start sharing, it starts to create a chain reaction. And you know how good news travels. It can travel pretty quickly. This is where you can generate multiple sources of income, multiple sources of influence. Every one of those people that's joined your team is influencing people around them and their community. And this is for that person who really wants to make an impact, a tremendous way to do that, because it's now going beyond your personal influence into the influence of others. You know, I didn't know a whole lot of people when I got started, but I now have a network that spans many, many countries. And most of those people I never knew. I just knew the first few people I introduced this to, who then introduced it to others, and so on and so forth. What a great way to build a business. We call that the global wellness community, and we have a global wellness community of entrepreneurs. And I know we have some on the call. I believe we're going to hear first from Gloria Snyder. Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial experience with Nikken, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I was an employee when my neighbor introduced this to us, and I was tied to their schedule, their permission for vacation. But I discovered with Nikken the freedom that allowed me to drive a daughter who couldn't drive until she was 20, and she worked a job since she was 16. I was allowed to help raise grandchildren, to take care of parents, and still bring in extra money, because they call it a nook and cranny business, and it was. I could make a phone call. I could, well, now with the newer technologies, with Zoom and text messaging that didn't exist back in 1998 when I was introduced to this, I can do this so quickly in between appointments. I did that today. I was running errands and then I had an appointment with a physical therapist, but I made a couple of text messages in between, checked on a couple of people who were on the fence about wanting to buy something, had a wonderful appointment with this physical therapist. And when I got home, one of those people had signed up as a customer and made a purchase. So it really can fit my life all the time. And what I've always wanted to do with my life is to make a difference. And I know that every penny I have ever made from Nikken, and they are very generous with the money, it's because someone else feels better from a product. It's not because they signed up for some program. They bought a product that made them feel better. And if it was because of me that they moved product through the warehouse, then I got paid for it. And I'm just immensely grateful for a company that has put the priority on me, on each one of us in this global wellness community. And I love introducing someone to this and let them say no, thank you, because that's their choice. And when they learn a little bit more, they always become a customer, if not a business partner. And so that possibility every day of waking up, having something good to do, working at a 5-pillar day, and making a difference. I will do this forever.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I do want to hear from someone else. If you want to raise your hand, in the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about mine. That first video, that first night that I was introduced to Nikken, I remember someone saying, by the way, thank you, Gloria. I remember someone saying on the video, you know, you can sell just about anything to anybody. They might like it. They might even tell someone about it. But when you can take away someone's discomfort, boy, they're going to tell everybody about it. And that's what I experienced right away, especially with my dad doing just that a few days later, calling me from work and asking if I could get some more of these items because he had friends at work that wanted to buy them. That's kind of when it went snap and I realized, wow, this thing is really special. So do we have someone who's got their hand up? Share their little their business story? We're all guys, this is the business of sharing. Let's have a volunteer, or I will voluntold. Anyone?
I'll volunteer.
Thank you. Dave, Rolf, tell us about your business experience with Nikken. Thank you.
You know, for me, this business started in 1990 after 14 years of failing in network marketing. And I was at my wit's end. I didn't know that I could ever make it work. As a matter of fact, when I first got introduced, I said, nah, it's network marketing. I can't do that. And but then I got to the right people. I learned the right information. I put my nose to the grindstone. And as a result of how people reacted to the product and the technology, it made telling the story of the opportunity that much more credible. It wasn't pie in the sky or blowing smoke. It was truly an opportunity. But like any other opportunity that you get involved with, you got to go to work. You got to do what's necessary. You can't just sit around and say, oh, okay, well, maybe somebody will call me today kind of an attitude. It's like anything else that's worthwhile. This, I'm in my later years in life. I'm basically at a point where I can do what I want to do when I want to do it because I can do it. And that's I raised my family. I traveled the world. I had my 15 minutes of fame. And after we had our meeting today, I looked on that site and I'm in the top 70 of network marketers of all time. And I thought to myself, wow, that's really a neat acknowledgement. So, Mike, you're probably in the top 40 or 30. So congratulations to you. But this is truly something that's worthwhile. And what's amazing is Nikken keeps on ticking. And so if you participate, you can too. So it's made my life wonderful.
Awesome. And congratulations to your success, Dave, because it's meant a lot of other people's success as well.
Thanks, Mike.
All righty. Well, let's just bring this home then. Here we go. You know, being at the right place at the right time is one thing. Knowing you're at the right place at the right time. That's more important. And one of the things that you might want to take a look at is our vision, Nikken's vision for the future. 10 million people practicing active wellness, and our vision for 2025. I mean, it's a tall order, and I don't know if we'll get that close. But I was one of the people who was first reluctant to acknowledge that as an objective. But I have a son who's become quite the sensation on YouTube. He's got over 6.5 million followers himself in the last 2 years. So yeah, I guess everything's possible with today, and people sharing through the various ways people share today. But if you're somebody who can identify with a company that really believes that its role in society is to be careful and care of society, that its economic viability is a cornerstone, and that goes for every individual with the company as well, to be in harmony, well, always in harmony. It informs Nikken's decisions about even how they package the products, to be in harmony with nature. For our vision, every home a wellness home. Everyone is deserving of this kind of experience in their life. If that's something that excites you, then just know we're at the beginning of a big movement, and wellness certainly is not going away. So if you're a wellness enthusiast, please consider being a Nikken wellness consumer, because you're going to be on the road to an incredible product line and experience that will generate a wellness home. If you're somebody who it means more to you than just to be a user of products, but to tell other people about it, you like sharing, a wellness promoter, then join us. You can upgrade your consumer account. You can ask the person who invited you here today to listen to this to just send you a link, and you can register. And if you're like me and some of the people you heard tonight, who really, it matters to you to make an impact, that's something you're driven by, then help us continue to grow the Nikken wellness community and give people a fighting chance to deal with the stresses in their life in each of those 5 pillars. And so partner with us. That's basically enroll with us, and we'll sit down with you and set some goals that are personal for you and help you get your business off the ground. So that's it for me, Jeff. Back to you.
Mike, thank you so much. Thanks for sharing these great ideas about how someone can create more balance in life, and not just in one area, but in many areas. And Nikken truly is a company that will allow you to join a community of people who are working together to help people to have more health, more wellness, more fulfillment in their lives through amazing products, a great business opportunity, a fantastic philosophy of humans being more, in the 5 pillars of wellness, as Mike mentioned. And I also want to thank our guests, Gloria Snyder, Nancy, Clyde, Dave Rolfe, and also Maggie McKee. Did I get everybody who shared with the group their thoughts?
Dr. Karen Willens.
What's that?
And Dr. Karen Willens.
Yes, and Dr. Willens for sharing with us about the great products and business that Nikken has. We do meet every week on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we have a balanced life, happy life that focuses on these ideas and these concepts. Please invite your friends, those people who are looking to create more in life, whatever that might be, and have them join us on Tuesday evening. Thanks everybody for being with us tonight. Thanks again, Mike and the crew, for sharing your thoughts and ideas. Have a great night, everybody.